this dude. He said he said that I ruined his life because I reacted to Homeboy here having one of the worst takes in all of mankind. He posted a new video that's already 50% disliked. And he says why hardcore players are ruining Wuthering Waves. All right, bro, let's hear it. Let's go.
Our games. Specifically, Wuthering Waves, I consider myself a tier below hardcore. I min-max here or there if I have a favorite character, but I'm not gonna sit here and try to exhaust the entire game in a week. It's like these people buy a family-sized box of cereal and they eat it within 2 to 3 days. Bro, learn some fucking serving sizes. I'm gonna go through some points.
Okay, so first of all, based. Second of all, hardcore players aren't ruining the games. The people who ruin games are hardcore players who go into your stream, go into the community, message you personally and say, if you don't play this way, you should kill yourself, right? Like those are the people who are annoying, but a guy who just plays the game with like extra restrictions and higher difficulty, they're by no means ruining the game. And by the way, I mean, sometimes when I get a box of Captain Crunch, I can't help myself, okay? That shit good as fuck. I'll eat that shit in like 15 seconds, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't help me, I'm just fat.
So why I think these people are ruining the games. They're gonna cause some issues for this game, and you can't really do anything about it because if people enjoy the game this much and they want to min-max it, and they want to 100% everything, they should be able to do this 100%. But
I would actually argue the players that go to 100% the game are actually casuals. I think what 100%ing means is they want to beat every achievement, they want to explore the whole world, they want to see the whole map. I think hardcore players just go in, they spend money, they juice out their fucking characters, and then they go. It's a very vague definition of what a hardcore player it is, but that's what I think. I think the majority of hardcore players are giga whales, but there's also some free-to-play players too, and who really want to test the limits of their account while being completely free-to-play. So I guess it's up to artist interpretation.
I think it has a lot of negative effects on the development of these games. So I want to go through how these
it does not have a negative effect on the development of the game. I got no idea what bro's talking about.
Actually affect the game. Content exhaustion. I hate how the game will come out and you have these people that will beat every single piece of content. And I talked about this a long time ago about how hardcore players were gonna beat the hard content on day one. And I don't think anyone's reached that level because I think the devs understood, yeah, these people, they gonna run through the content. That's why you can't upgrade your echoes. They bottleneck echo XP. Like they put all these locks on the game because they know these people are gonna just run through everything. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I mean, I've run through some of the content, but I know, let me take my time because there are update cycles in these games.
Why doesn't he just make the title, Why MTash is Ruining Games? Right? This should literally have MTash in the pinned comment, the description, the title, on the goddamn thumbnail, because every issue bro is talking about is what MTash stands for.
And if you just run through everything, you're gonna be the one in someone's chat, you're gonna be the one in someone's video comments talking about, bro, there's no content. Where's the content? What should I do? Oh,
he's even doing the MTash voice, man. Goddamn.
This game's trash. It has no content. Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? It's like, dude, you did everything you were supposed to do. It's like becoming a billionaire. You beat the game. You ain't got nothing to do. I mean, just imagine this.
I'm glad he said a billionaire and not a millionaire, because a millionaire in today's economy really isn't enough to retire and have generational wealth. Because I'll be real, guys, and I say this all the time, you can now not be a millionaire and have generational wealth. You need to be a 5 millionaire. That's the new number to hit.
The strain that this will have on devs because they build something that's supposed to be done within a certain cycle that causes people to call the game bad and there's nothing to do, it's boring. It's like, no dude, you're the one that's just playing 16 hours a day, bro. Imagine if you took them 16 hours and did something else with it. Imagine how your life would be. Anyway, I think people pushing the game to its limit the first few days causes the devs to release lower quality updates, and I think we've
Nah, it's cap. No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because the thing you got to understand is the hardcore players are like less than like 8% of the fucking game. Developers are always going to pander to the overwhelming majority of their audience. And yeah, they're not thinking, oh God, the players are already done. Quick, release more endgame. They're just like, okay, well, 1.1 will come out and then you'll be happy. So just take it easy, pump the brakes. New shit's coming out.
Seen this with a lot of games. I'm not gonna mention other games because I mean,
I'll be real. If you want to see a truly unrelatable bitch fest, it was me, Fob, Sweetly, MTash, and Mr. Pokey. And I'm sitting there And I'm hearing all these complaints, and I'm like, yes, they were me. They were me when Genshin Impact 1.0 came out. I remember those days. I remember when I thought I needed infinite content. Nah, I'm good. It's a gacha game, right? If you want game shit to grind all the time, play an MMO, play Path of Exile. But for a gacha game, I like it. I enjoy optimizing them. I clear all the content, and then I quit until the new patch update comes out. It's great. Beat all the content, log in for 5 minutes a day, do my dailies. Forget about it. Go on fucking Twitter. Go on Reddit. React. Find dumbasses. Make fun of them. It's good. Add it to the pile of gaming slop. The problem is that people are trying to take what games are meant to be played as side games and make them main games. And yeah, that's just not what gacha games are. There's not a single gacha game on the planet right now that you can play as a main game. And if you can, feel free to let me know. Maybe people consider MapleStory a non-MMO gacha game, of course. But yeah, they're meant to be played as side games.
I don't feel like dealing with shills and crybabies, but you can think of the games that you probably know what I'm talking about. Where
let me rephrase that. There's no single player PvE gacha games. Single player PvE gacha games. I don't even think there's any single player PvE games that you can play 24/7 as a main game, because you just beat him and then it's over with.
Over time, the updates just felt rushed. Things weren't thought through. The events kind of sucked. And I think devs do this to kind of satiate the hardcore players or people who just push all the content, because it's like, okay, well, we got to shut them up. They're right. The content, there is no content in the game.
Why the fuck are y'all saying single player PvE and then saying Destiny 2? Also, Warframe? Yeah, fucking right, bro. I played that game for 3 days, got everything I needed, and then I quit that shit. Okay, I ain't here to grind fashion, bro. Okay, I ain't doing fashion frame. That ain't me, man.
So, I mean, we got to add something. And I feel like that.
Bro, did you just say Skyrim? Bro, you beat Skyrim in like 4 fucking days. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Well, I spent money and I got what I wanted, then I quit. So maybe it's my fault. I hear a lot of people like Warframe. I've tried it so many times. I just don't get it. And Warframe's been very good to me. I've even been to TennoCon. I've even talked to the developers. I've even been inside Digital Extremes, right? Like, I've seen all their work. I don't know why I can't get into the game. Now, I am excited to play Soulframe whenever the fuck that comes out. But yeah, I just don't know why I can't get into it.
They don't actually get a chance to just really make something special. But I feel like this is a issue that happens in most games that probably will happen with this game, because this game is more of a hardcore experience.
Warframe endgame is admitting you wasted your time. Yeah, isn't that great? The endgame of Genshin Impact is quitting Genshin Impact.
Now, I'll be honest, okay? I like this one. I like this point here. I like this issue. So exploit discovery. Because hardcore players 100% the game, for the next 3 weeks, what you gonna do? Try to exploit the game, try to min-max. This is just the cycle of life. This is just what happens. And you find little hacks and exploits and cheats to bypass the regular game mechanics. In WAVES.EXE, there's a lot of echo exploits right now, and I'll be honest, I'm using them shit too, okay? Look, I'm there with you. Look, I get it. But I'm just saying, although I like it, I think it's still bad for the game. I 100% do, because
I disagree. And you know what's crazy? I don't think they're echo exploits. It depends which one you're referring to, but I don't think Triple Dreamless is an exploit by any means. I think it's very intentional.
Because these exploits contribute to the content exhaustion, the pacing issues, which causes the devs to have to force updates or give low quality updates. And maybe this does or doesn't affect it, but it seems like it. I'm not at their headquarters developing the game. Maybe it doesn't affect anything. And if it doesn't, great. Now I want to talk about the feedback overload, because I think these people are so unaware of themselves. They don't realize they are the problem. Now I'm all for feedback and criticism.
I want to hear them out, because I will be real. If there's one thing that I've learned, because obviously I'm an owner of a video game publishing company now. In case you guys don't know, I'm an owner of Mad Mushroom, and we've released our first game. We have many more games being published soon. But if there's one thing I've learned, is that listening to hardcore players is usually like the worst thing to fucking do, because they ask for the most unreasonable shit, especially in a gacha game. So let's see what he has to say here.
Criticism, but I think there is a point in which it's too much, and it's like, all right, bro, you're asking for way too much. And I think that since these people are so aggressive, a lot of other issues get overshadowed, because it's like, oh, well, we gotta help these people because look how much they're complaining. And I think a lot of the issues that hardcore adjacent players experience aren't necessarily issues that need to be handled right away, when you could just wait for the next update. But it's like they want them to rush and rush and rush, and it's like, dude, just let them cook a little bit.
That was a half-cooked point, and I really feel like you could have gone into it more, but I actually think he's right. Just let the devs cook a little bit and stop wanting things that should be happening 4 years from now on day fucking one. I feel like the other really stupid fucking point that hardcore players are saying is, well, look at how much content Genshin has versus how much content Wuthering WAVES has. Yeah, it just came out. It just came out. Look at how much fucking content World of Warcraft has now compared to launch. There's a factor of 100x content from day one, right? The game gets bigger the longer you wait, and we've already been confirmed that we're getting a new zone and a new boss in 1.1.
Next, I want to talk about unrealistic expectations. Now, I'll be real. Okay. I'm a part of this too, okay? We all do this. We all imagine how the game could be or should be, but I think this is mostly bad for the game. I don't necessarily think being
I disagree.
hardcore is the specific issue with this. I think it's mostly all players, but you see it more from like hardcore players or the hardcore audience in general, where they'll apply these crazy expectations of the game because, you know, they're like, oh man, what if this mechanic could do this? Oh, the next character is going to be busted. Oh, they're going to blah, blah, blah. And we've seen this a million times. And I think this hurts the game because the reality is often disappointing. Perfect example.
I think having high expectations for a game isn't wrong, unless you're a Genshin Impact player, in which case you kind of have to have your expectations low all the time. The issue where it becomes a problem is when you have these expectations and then you generally get upset when they're not met, when you know they're unrealistic. But having faith in your company to make a good update in the way that you want it, there's nothing particularly wrong on it, just unless you go on Twitter and then cry, bitch, and moan about it.
All I can get for this is Genshin. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if they added a character that did this and did this? Oh, dude, they could update the mechanics. They could do this. Oh, dude, they can buff this character. And then when they don't do
wouldn't it be crazy if Genshin fixed their game and took out Paimon? Oh, fuck.
it, we're like, oh, the game's trash. You can't apply these high expectations to a game that didn't plan on even being that thing that you want it to be. And I think Genshin is that, where it's like, yo, we're just casual. Like, we weren't trying to be a hardcore game. Like, what y'all doing? It's like Fortnite. They even added no build because, like, bro, we never wanted to be a freaking try-hard.
So here's the issue, right? And I'm gonna write this down for people to understand. Okay. So let's boot this up. Genshin Impact launch. I want you guys to understand everything in this game. Had a system to spend money to make your characters stronger. Had a system of talents to make characters stronger. Had a complex elemental interaction system when used properly to make characters stronger. Had a level up function to make characters stronger. Had a party system with 4 members you can carefully choose to maximize your DPS. Have a endgame mode where you strive to beat all 12 floors in the abyss. Okay? So you can't make a game, right? Have ways to level up your characters, have ways to spend to make people think that you need, you know, more power to beat the game, have this complex elemental combat system, you know, have ways to min-max all of your DPS output, and then be surprised when people say, oh yeah, this floor of Spiral Abyss is really good. Can we have more of that? Oh, well, we're just casual. What do you mean? Like, why would you even think that we were even that game? I mean, we're casual. Like, what do you mean? I don't understand why you even think that we were even thinking about doing that. You're the idiot. You're the dumb one for thinking that we were going to do that. I mean, like, why would you even get that conclusion that there was going to be harder content, that there was going to be endgame? I mean, every game that are casual have ways to level up all your fucking characters and then do fucking nothing with them, just like Animal Crossing. Like, I don't know, like, what is another game where you have all of these ways to make your character stronger, ways to spend money to make your character stronger, and then just have nowhere to test them besides once every 2 weeks? I don't know. I really don't think that that's a player issue. It seemed coordinated and very leading players towards a certain answer, which is, I'm telling you, the big bad content's coming out, and then it just never happens. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I've never played a game that's like that. Every other game I've ever played, is like you get all these characters, you build up these characters, and you have this big mode that you're going to fucking do. I just don't get it. Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand why. Let me rephrase that. I get why people. Let me be very clear with my words. I want to be very clear. I think the players are justified in thinking that Endgame was coming. Okay? I do think that was coming. I understand what happened with the company, where they made flashy combat for casual players. I don't think it's right to guilt players who thought Endgame was coming because there were so many systems that were implying it. Now, I would love for anybody to counteract that and tell me why they think I'm wrong on why, no, you should have never expected Endgame content in Genshin Impact. But me personally, all the signs pointed to that, right? And if it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Now, color me surprised if it does all those three things and it's actually a fucking alligator. That's not on me for thinking that. You cock teased me and you got me ready for that. But I feel like I'm not going to fuck a duck, by the way. I'm not going to fuck a duck, right? But you really can't blame players for thinking that. But maybe one of your preferred creators can explain that to me, but I don't get it.
Cracked game. We just wanted a fun game for people to play, and then y'all just want to fucking try to make this your career. Back to Genshin Impact. Yeah, people, they have these crazy expectations and they never, ever capitalized on them at all, like literally at all. I mean, we have Wuthering WAVES today, so I think that we worked out fine, right? We're good. Yeah. We're handled. Okay, we're handled. Thanks, Kiro. But still, yeah, I think unrealistic expectations could hurt games, and it does hurt games. So with Wuthering WAVES, I feel like a lot of people say, "Oh, dude, the next characters are gonna be so cracked." They should, but when they're not, we're so disappointed. Oh God, how could they? How could they not make the best thing ever created in the universe? I mean,
okay. I think players having expectations for a certain standard that new characters should live up to is completely fine. The problem is when people complain when they're not overpowered. But if they're balanced, it's fine. If you complain when a new 5-star character is absolute shit, I think that's perfectly reasonable. But it's when you get let down when they don't break the game is where it becomes unreasonable.
You gotta sit in reality. Not every character is gonna be busted. Not everything is gonna be this and that. And you don't know their plan. You don't know what they're trying to do with the game. And I think Wuthering WAVES is gonna be fine, 100%. But I'm talking about it because I see it becoming a problem slowly but surely.
Okay.
Now we're going to talk about the meta. Now this one gets under my skin personally.
Why?
Because I think this actually ruins the game. This is the thing that ruins the game in its entirety. So the metas. And who creates the metas? The hardcore players. The reason.
And the same thing with this guy, what he's saying. If you agree with him, W. If you disagree, L. Very simple.
And this is an issue is because with games where you have builds and stuff like that, where you can have classes, or let's just stick to Wuthering WAVES, you can build your character and you have this ecosystem. I think the fun is building your own character, finding out your own builds. But when you have these people that just automatically apply meta, say, oh, you're not optimizing your character great enough. Oh man, you need to have this echo. You need to have this. It's like, bro, like let people experiment and have fun with the build. And it's like,
I agree with this take 100%. I do think people who force meta players on streamers and other players who experience their game are incredibly cringe, and they don't grasp the reality of perhaps we could just be playing the game for fun.
You put pressure on people. Oh, well, you're not going to beat this boss if you don't have this meta. It's like the whole fun of hard content is
Nobody is forcing meta though, Lamau. I think that's a very dangerous statement to say, Shinya, because it does happen quite often, especially in content creators chats as well as forum posts, where people will go into forums and say, hey, what character should I use? And then rather than just be said, hey man, what characters do you like? This could be fun to use. They say this is the most efficient team. So I do think there are actually a lot of players who do force metas on other people. I think it's very fair, or like imply that you're playing wrong if you don't. I think this is very true. I do think hardcore players are guilty of this 1,000,000%.
Figuring out the hard content. Why are you stripping the fun away from the game, which is building the fucking character? Why would I even play the game if you just gonna play it for me? But then when you have
yeah. Well, who's playing the game right now? Me or you? Who's playing me or you, man? Yeah, good point.
These people that just completely min-max and they force you and pressure you into building it a certain way because, oh, if you don't have the optimal build, you're a loser. Let me give you an example. What's his name? Ling Yang. Everyone said, oh, he's trash. He's so garbage. Bro, when I got that dude to my account, he obliterated everything. What are you talking about? He's trash. How is he trash? Wow, he does 1% less than Calcharo. Shut up. He's not fucking trash. There's no character in the game that is trash. That's why I say, bro, this is so annoying where it's like this meta because these people are operating on like of the 1%. Like, oh man, well, this character is actually way better because they do 2% more damage in this specific scenario. It's like, bro, the fuck you talking about? Here's my rule. If it does,
Yeah, I think bro's spitting. I think Ling Yang was so overhated. I'm very excited to have my Ling Yang fully built. That way I can fucking shove my dick in these fucking haters' mouths.
Does 20% extra, it's better. If it does anything less, I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. This one roused me up. Maybe I'm doing too much. And if I'm doing too much, let me know down in the comment. Let's just move on. Okay, let's move on to the last point here. Now this last one is adjacent to the meta and it's gameplay monotony. I think this is bad because if everyone is playing the game the exact same way, what the fuck is the point of playing the game? Everyone has the same exact build. They have the same exact artifacts, echoes on their characters. I think this is bad for the game because it's just like, bro, the point of having a ecosystem or artifact system is so that people can build the characters they want, how they want, and try different things. And I think more specifically the ecosystem because
I understand what this guy's saying. However, I don't think this applies to this game because the artifact system is very straightforward with this one. I know people want to pretend that there's like this whole mystical, magical way that you can build your characters and experiment. But in reality, there's like 3 different sets that can maybe be used on every single character, like whether they're using attack, electro, or energy regen. But in reality, it's kind of just like put the ice set on the ice character, put the electro set on the electric character. There's not really any freedom of builds in this game, which is fine. I think the real expression comes from the echo that you choose as your main. And I kind of enjoy how there's a difference between using like the robot or Tempest Mephis or Thundering Mephis. I think that's a lot of fun, whether you want to just hard commit to hitting 6 slots on an enemy's weak spot or stability phase versus doing swap cancels with Tempest Mephis. So I really feel like you can do either. It's not fair to blame players for the expectation based on the initial game design of Genshin Impact they played. Let's read this right. It's not fair to blame players for the expectations based on the initial game design of Genshin Impact. They played whatever was provided to them. However, developers should be honest about their vision for the game's trajectory and how they will address endgame content. But they didn't address that. Instead, they decided to continue to evolve the game and shift towards casual based on the data they got from feedback and player base. Yeah, it's good tech. There you go, shit, Jimmy.
The echoes have abilities themselves, so you can really customize your build. But what I've been seeing is a lot of people just using the same fucking template, the same shit. It's so bad. We talking team comp. People is playing the same team comps. Oh, you play more Mortify with this character and you gotta play. It's like, what? Oh, it's gonna make the game feel boring. You're watching a video and you're copying to a T what that person does and you're not actually having the fun because the fun of the game isn't beating the hard content. It's learning how to fucking beat the content. Oh man, how do I beat Memphis or Tempest? Well,
I think someone saying that the fun you're doing is wrong is usually a bad take. I feel like fun is subjective to whatever the player is doing. I mean, I know a lot of people want to say that playing meta isn't fun, and I used to have that mentality as well, but some people just enjoy grinding numbers. Some people just enjoy pushing the limits of their account. I feel like fun really depends on the person. And so I'd rather not just dismiss meta players as being like, oh, they're not having fun, they're just grinding. It's each their own.
His name is so stupid. They tried to rhyme it. You're not Dr. Seuss. Sit down, Kiro. This is just how I feel. I feel like this really ruins games and it would be nice to see different stuff. And maybe this is Kiro's fault for just putting stuff in the game where you can only do something one way. But what I've seen is there's tons of other builds that people use that are just as good or better than what the meta is. So yeah, I think the hardcore players definitely create this like repetitive environment in games. So yeah, that's the video. That's just what I want to talk about today. Subscribe, like, and comment, you know.
I think a better title for this, but it's way less clickbaity, would be where hardcore players are wrong, but also help improve games, because hardcore players bring it both positive and negative. One, they can bring a more elitist mentality where things are a lot less free, and if you don't do it my way, it's the highway. But also they build like pathways to success, and they really help new players understand if they are stuck to find a new area to succeed, and also bring their account to a new level they previously wouldn't have been able to attain. So I do think hardcore players are not a strictly net negative. I believe they're net neutral. Right? But obviously, if we can avoid the downside of just being annoying as fuck and saying, if you don't do this, you're fucking gay, right? It's like, all right, well, let's just not do that, right? Let's just be like, hey, if you want to try it this way, go for it. It's the best way to play. But in my opinion, just play whatever you want. I think that's always great to say. But yeah, honestly, I feel like bro's video was way overhated.
Hardcore players are...
I'm gonna be dead ass. I think this video was way overhated. I think bro got shit on way too much for no reason. I feel like the video was fine. I'm gonna say, I think the video was great. I always appreciate when people make videos that are a little bit risky to make. And I feel like bro cooked a little bit for a lot of the points. Obviously, a little bit more. Need a little bit in the kitchen. But if you guys want to go like this guy's video, go give him a subscribe. Go for it. I feel like bro really brought it back with this. But that's just my opinion. Appreciate y'all watching. See you on the next one. Peace.